Hello, listeners and followers, and thanks for listening in again. Today I've got a great guest. We've just met a few days ago online, obviously, because no one's traveling anywhere. And I just really wanted to listen to his story and how he became what he does. Go onto his channels. His channel and social media handle is Q8overland. I will put the links in the description below so you can listen to them. And I really suggest you guys come along and follow him. He's really fun to chat to and got some great stories. So I hope you enjoy what you're about to hear. So, Jamal, thanks very much for signing in and having this general chatter under fire with me.
Thank you very much, Anton. It's my pleasure and it's an honor to know someone like you and to chat about overlanding, the thing that we like.
I think it's very true, and we love overlanding for several reasons. I was chatting with a guy today, and his podcast will come out in a few days. But, you know, basically the whole overlanding thing started for us is to get out with our children and families and just get away from the nonsense of the hustle and bustle and malls and social media and all that other stuff. And we end up posting it on social media mostly as a reminder for us because we take the footage, but also to share with people that have that might not have the entire opportunity or want to do what we have. So I think it's the same for you. And I think the one thing I'd love you to just tell my listeners is how you came to do what you do, because when you look at your channel, it's amazing. I completely love it, and it wasn't what I expected. Can you just give me a few minute rundown how you became to have a channel the way that you do?
Yeah, sure. Yes, I'm from Kuwait. You know, Kuwait, it's a really small country in the Arabian Gulf. And in my country, we don't have that big desert. It's mostly places around, surrounded by buildings. You know, it's a small desert. So
yes.
Yeah, we used to take. I used to be a professional photographer, taking photos of the galaxy, you know, and the stars. And when we are sitting on the desert taking these photos, we decided that we change our trip into a camping trip so we can enjoy camping and taking photos. And eventually it's turned out that camping is more fun than taking photos, and that's why we start getting like more into camping. Then from camping we start to like more to try to get you know, like cars that's available to go into this desert.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why we are turned into the overlanding to travel in Saudi Arabia. That's a bigger desert. When I found out that my previous car, it was Suzuki Grand Vitara. Yeah,
okay.
It was a small car, and I tried to take all my friends in this car, and we were like 4 or 5 people. This car was really small and it didn't withstand the desert in Saudi Arabia. It's a really big desert, and
yes,
you can drive like more than 300 kilometers into the sand dunes, you know. So this is when we realized that we must learn more about the traveling in the desert. That's how I find out what's overlanding, you know. And
correct. Yeah. I think it would be a little scary, to say the least, and going into some of these big places with very little knowledge how to get yourself out of it or what to do if something goes wrong. I think that's one thing every overlander learns from the very beginning is safety and what equipment to use and take. I mean, the one big thing for me, and I'm going to ask you now, is tires. I'm very big on tires. You know, making sure you have the right stuff. And I'm running Coopers at the moment, and I doubt I will ever change. I had BFGs, the KOs, and I looked at the KO2s, and it didn't work for me. I learned a lot about the tires. And what tires are you running, and what size tires are you running? And so just for info, Jamal, listeners, is running. He's using. He has a Defender 110, similar to mine. That is very, very well looked at. It's got lights around where it should, and all that other stuff, which I'll let him explain. But yeah, tell me about the tires. What tires are you using at the moment?
Tires. Actually, it's for us. It's the most important part of the car, because our terrain is. It's amazing how the difference between the terrain we can pass by when we are driving. We have to drive like hundreds of kilometers in the roads, then and again hundreds of kilometers in rocky ground and muddy ground sometimes. So I found out that in the beginning that BF Goodrich K02 was a great tire for me. For the slow runner cars, like my Defender.
Yes.
It's not a fast car, and BF Goodrich was a very good tire for me until I met Mickey Thompson. Mickey Thompson, Mickey Thompson.
Mickey Thompson.
It's a very light tire. I use the Passenger, not the LTs.
Okay.
And they are really great. And I went to rocks, to sand, and everywhere, and it's holding up really good. Now I have them for a year, and I think they are really good. You don't have to deflate them when you go to soft sand. You just drive, and it's okay. In my car, at least. And
that's very cool. So I don't know if you know, but Cooper Tires owns Mickey Thompson.
Yeah, Cooper are really great tires. Also in Kuwait here, many people are using Cooper, and we have many rescue teams are using Coopers also.
Really, rescue teams? I'd like to hear about that. But let's so I actually wanted to get. I looked at the Mickey Thompsons as well, the 88s, and I just didn't end up going with them. I stuck with what I knew, which was the ST Maxes, and I completely love them for our terrain, which looks a little bit similar to yours. Yeah. The ST Maxes are fantastic. The ST Pros are really good, but overkill for guys like you and I.
Yeah.
I've had a set of the Pros. They were put on my vehicle. They were way too big. They were wrong. I didn't choose them. And neither did Cooper Tires, by the way. And I couldn't wait to go back to the Maxes, and I'm super stoked. I don't think I'll change. Maybe to the Mickey Thompson, but I doubt I would change. I actually did previously, before I got this current set, because I'm running two 4.5s, 75 16s.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the what are they called? I forget the name. I'm gonna have to research it now. The ATZs, which are really, yes, ATZ3, yes, they're fantastic. I really wanted them, but they didn't have them in my size. They didn't have them in 16s. They only had them in 17s, and I wasn't going to change my rim for a set of tires. So I just moved on and stuck with what I knew, and I'm super stoked for the stuff that I do. So yeah, I'm really glad they fantastic tires. So I want to ask another question now. What navigation system do you use? I mean, I know every country has certain specific things that are geared towards them. I know that in the US, you've got Gaia Maps, and Latin America, I think they've got others. Yeah. We use between Google Maps. We also have a very good one in SADC areas in Southern Africa, which is called Tracks for Africa, which are very, very good. And I really love them. I know one of the main guys there, and it's really good. What do you use? What's your go-to in order to navigate through the areas that you go?
Yeah, I just start using the Overlander from Garmin. It's a great device. It's also compatible with our deserts. We don't have that much of roads in the desert that's been written on maps. So I think the best thing that we have used in our desert is the Google Map. Google Map is the most important, because everybody have one in his pocket. So
yes, that's true.
Yeah, so this is the first thing that you need, and you must learn how to use. You can use it offline. You can download maps. You can write routes on it. You can do everything that you can do in a like professional device with just Google Maps. And if it's,
I completely agree with you.
If it's dead,
completely agree
if
with
it's dead, you can use your friend's phone and you're on the road again, you know.
And you're on the same, literally on the same path. You know, that was something that I was frustrated with, was switching between Garmin, Tracks for Africa, Google, and I never really trusted Garmin, to be honest. I always found it was like trying to trick me somewhere along the way, because it doesn't choose a track that you know is there. I had an iPhone 10 until the other day. They broke into my vehicle, but I ran my iPhone 10. I looked at the Garmin Overlander, but to be honest, it's a locked device for Garmin only. It's got iOverlander on it. You can put Tracks for Africa on it from South Africa, and then you only had other apps that were related to Garmin, which is fair enough. It's their device. They're more than welcome to do it. But what I ended up doing is getting the Garmin InReach Mini, connecting it with an app on the iPhone, and then downloading all the maps, maps.me, Google Maps, downloading the offline maps, and all the other ones that I needed. And then that way I had like a whole bunch of different devices, of different apps on one device on my phone. And I'm now going to hopefully get an iPad if I can afford it. So that to me is definitely the way to go. I mean, I completely agree with you. Google is a little bit scary, but they definitely have what guys like you and I are asking for with the topography and all those other different versions that you can look at.
Yeah, that's right. And Google Maps, you can see satellite imagery that is really useful to go off-road, even off the tracks. You can find new places. You can make new tracks, because in our deserts, it's mostly sand dunes, and trucks will not stay on sand dunes. Like it will stay there for a few weeks, then the wind will blow them.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can make new routes to travel in the deserts. Yeah.
It's lovely. So listen, I've been browsing over your Instagram channel. You carry a lot of equipment. Now I'm a minimalist, so I carry what I need, and I make sure that it's good in what I use. I mean, you've got some really, really amazing systems that you have here. So tell me, what is your most used item on your vehicle, or the top 3 most used items on your vehicle? Kettle, stove, bags, your fridge, compressor. What is your most used, or top 3, I should say?
Top 3, let's say the most number 1 first is the Garmin InReach. It's an amazing device. Most of our deserts has no cellular service there. So I've been using Garmin InReach to contact family, to contact friends, chatting on SMS.
Yes.
This is amazing, actually, and you can send them your location. They can find you anytime. And even if you keeping this Garmin InReach in your car and someone stole your car, you will be able to find your car also. So this is a great device, number 1. And number 2 is the fridge I got. It's Dometic CFX 50.
Okay.
Yeah, this fridge is really amazing. I still cannot understand how it's working with such minimum power, and how it saves the battery and keep working. It's really amazing fridge, actually. And the third, I think I would say it's the Tread sand tracks I use.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Tread Pro is the third most important, because we don't have like rocks or trees in the desert. So when you are stuck, you cannot use your winch.
Yes.
Yeah, you will just have the easiest way is the tread. You just put your treads under the tire and you are off again.
That's amazing. I mean, I completely agree about the fridge. So tell me, what deep cycle battery are you running? I mean, do you use a lot of power at night? You know, lights and obviously fridge, which draws. Do you know what your fridge draws? For example, what power it pulls?
Yeah, actually, before I used to have the Iron Man fridge, and
Yes.
it used to drain my batteries. So I've changed the whole battery system. I have a separate battery just for the fridge. It's 100 watts, 100 amps battery, and I use
Yes.
TGM projector, DC solar for this battery. And now with the Dometic, it's just I use the Dometic minus 15, and
Okay.
yeah, and it's drawing about maybe 4 amps or less than 4 amps.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's keep working. I use also solar power. I have 60 watts of solar, and it's keep working. It never stops.
That's pretty good. I'm running a 105 amp hour battery, a true deep cycle battery. It's an AGM,
Yeah.
and I'm using a Engel fridge, and it's amazing. This Engel fridge, whether it's at minus 17 or 0, it pulls 2.7 amps. That's it.
Oh, that's great.
And I really, really love it. I had one before. I moved over to Snowmaster. And Snowmaster was pulling 5.7 amps an hour, and I was like, no ways, that's crazy, man. And then I ended up going back to Engel and never looked back. I mean, I reckon it's just a fantastic fridge. Dometic are really good. I've heard that they keep the cold for a long time, which is exactly what you want. You know, I think it's got quite thick walls,
Yeah.
so it makes quite a difference.
Yeah, that's right. One time my battery was dead, and the fridge was everything inside was frozen for a full day. You know, so this is quite okay for us. You know, in this hot weather.
Yeah. Listen. You know, we get hot areas in Africa, but I don't think it really completely competes with the Middle East.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's going into your summer now, and aircon plays a huge role. And
Yeah, that's
I've driven in I think it was something like 42 degree temperature, and my aircon just completely shut off.
Oh, 42 is very good weather.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
So tell me, Jamal, looking at your channels, and it looks like you are quite similar to South Africans, that we develop and build and make a lot of our own stuff. I mean, how much on your vehicle is stuff that you've done yourself? You know, from tables to modifications on your vehicle.
Yeah, see, the beginning of my channel and the beginning of social media exposure that I've done, everything used to be made by myself. You know, I had Gullwing windows that I made, and I have the full body protection checker plate that I've made also myself, cut at home, and paint and drill in my car. I mean, most of the things that I used to do myself, you know, even I painted UK flag on top of my car, you know. I have done this also. Yeah, but after my channels getting more famous, many companies here in Kuwait are try to advertise their stuff through me, you know. So they offer front runner Gullwing windows and front runner drawers, and okay, Jamal, let's change these things that you made. It's with the front runners.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I said no, I would not change those things that I made myself with front runner or any other company, because you know, it has such sentimental quality, you know. Or
correct. Yeah.
Because I've done it myself, you know.
I completely agree with you. I think most of the stuff on my vehicle I love because I've put it the way that I want it.
Yeah.
And it's the same as you. I mean, there's a lot of simple things. I didn't realize how many mods I've done on my vehicle, and I've kind of been caught here because I was doing a 1 minute vlog on every hack that I've done on my vehicle.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have a 3-week lockdown. Now we've got a 5-week lockdown, and I'm going, oh geez, I don't know if I have enough hacks for 5 weeks. So I got a few more that I'm going to have to try and figure out what I've done. But every time I look, I tend to find one. I mean, I've just done one now for taking 2 50-watt panels and putting a hinge between it, so you can actually fold it smaller, put it in your vehicle, or open it out and slide it underneath the roof rack. I'll send it to you shortly, and you can have a look. But basic things like that. Use the space that's not being used. That's not going to add a lot of weight and stuff like that. So I mean, I completely agree. And you've got what, something like 145,000 followers on YouTube, which is a really good following. I mean, are you probably the biggest in Kuwait or within the Middle East when it comes to stuff like this?
Yeah, when it comes to overlanding, I think I'm the only one maybe that's doing like overlanding similar to South Africans and Australians. Actually,
yes.
Actually, in the beginning, I used to follow Mr. Weiss for Q8overland.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to follow him and learn all about overlanding and what does it mean, traveling for longer distance for a week and going the distance, to roads that nobody drives through. So I started doing this, changing my car into something that's able to give you the luxury of living in the desert, So this is what pushes me. I've done everything in my car that gives me relaxation. I'm sure that I have enough water. I'm sure I have enough food, and if my car breaks down in the middle of desert, I can stay there for maybe a month waiting for someone. So
that does make sense. So talking about staying in your vehicle for long, what size fuel tank do you have? I'm sure you've got a extended fuel tank in there too.
No, the fuel tank is 80 liters from the factory, and I have 2 jerry cans. Actually, I've never used the extra jerry cans. Every time, when I go to Oman, for example, it's all mountains, and you cannot drive fast with this car.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed that, but in the Defender, if you drive slow, you never lose diesel. It will take you very far. It will only empty when you drive in a fast highway. Yeah, so the diesel is quite saving fuel. Yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, I've got a total of 105 liters in my vehicle. So I've got the standard, same as you, 75-liter tank.
Yeah.
Then I've got an extra 45-liter auxiliary tank that fits underneath where the fuel goes in. So I've got 105. I can do around 850 and 900 kilometers, depending on which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah.
On one tank, and then I carry 2 extra jerrys on the top. So for me, as long as I can do 1,000 kilometers somewhere, I don't always use the jerrys on the top.
Yeah.
I just leave them happily where they are, for worst case scenario. But then I do have one that I use a little bit more often, which sits behind my back seat, where my medical bag goes. And I leave it there because it's quick and easy access. And, if you just need an extra 20 liters in your tank, just for a little bit of extra comfort, that kind of works for me. But we do long distance. In order for me to get to Namibia or Botswana or Lesotho or Swaziland or Mozambique, we have to drive like 7 to 10 hours. So it's quite far,
quite far.
And I'm a real male. I don't like to stop. I want to just make sure I get there. So I'll stop at a fuel station, get going and fill up and then run out. So I totally, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know.
I totally
South African men might be different.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm thinking about the auxiliary tank that goes into the right of the car, the same as you have. It's really amazing.
It's pretty easy to. I think Front Runner did it. I don't know if they've still got stock. I mean, the Pumas they stopped production on them in 2016, so I'm not so sure if they still have stock. But it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a nice simple add-on for you. That doesn't, it's a dead space. There's nothing happening behind above the wheel there. So in the wheel arch, you have a lot that you can do.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Listen, I have another big question for you. I actually got two that'll go hand in hand. So, do your kids and your wife go with you on the trips? Number one, and number two is the big question: ground or rooftop tent?
Yeah. Okay. My family, I take the kids and the wife to deserts in Kuwait, but they don't go a long distance with me. I take actually only my wife to Oman for the third time now. And she loved it. She loved to live in the wilderness, but she must go there. She said that if I go there, I must go there in a rooftop tent. From the beginning, and I never use a rooftop tent. Only when I go to the deserts with my wife. I don't like rooftop tents. They are quite noisy when it's a bit windy.
Yes.
And but they are really cool and cold when the weather's hot.
Yes.
They are really comfortable. It's like your bed in the desert. You can never beat the comfort of a rooftop tent with any other tent or any other mattress. It's really amazing how it's comfortable and really easy to open and close but it will consume your fuel, and it's really heavy. It's 50 kilograms, about 50 kilograms.
Yeah. Which one do you have?
I have the TGM rooftop tent. I'm using
TGM. I don't know.
The TGM.
Oh, TGM. I don't know. Let me have a look. I'm just going to Google it while I'm chatting to you now.
Yeah, I tried both of them. They have weird names, like they're using TGM, but the company is TGM.
Overland.com. Okay, I found it. I got it. So I have a iCamper. I have a iCamper Force that sleeps four in the rooftop tent, and I love it. I mean, it's huge inside. It's literally a king size bed, so you have space. There's always a way off between the ground and rooftop tent, and I had an Oz tent. Which is really good. But it just was a bit cumbersome for what I was doing. So I kind of steered away from it and ended up with an iCamper, and I'm super stoked. So iCamper is it's amazing. But anyway, it's not a plug. So do your kids obviously prefer being on the ground? I mean, you don't really have dangerous animals. You have what? Scorpions, right? Snakes?
Only scorpions and snake, and it's not that much. Like it will be really rare, really rare that if you saw a snake, and you'll see a scorpion once a month maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not that dangerous. I let the kids play in the sand, and they like to go to the desert, and sometimes in the summer we go to Europe, to Switzerland. Yeah, and I ask them, you want to go to Disneyland or you want to go to some river in the mountains? They say, okay, let's go to the river. They don't like to go to Disneylands or cities. Even my wife, we just like to go to the nature more than.
I love your family already.
Thank you.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, this is what they like, and what I like also. Yeah.
So listen, we're actually coming up to 30 minutes, and I know you've got to get your evening started, and I want to ask you one last question. Tell me, what is your worst and best moment while going overlanding?
Yeah, my worst moments are when I have a breakdown with my car, when I'm with my wife.
Yes. I completely agree. Yes.
Yeah, because she cannot help. She cannot do anything, and I have to do everything myself, and it's very hard to find help and someone to fix the car, Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and the most amazing moment when I climb the highest mountain in the Arabian Gulf in Oman, with my Defender.
Yes.
And you know, the clutch plate smells and everything's whining, and the car starts slipping. And when you arrive to the top, it's a great feeling.
I completely agree. And listen, I'm very stoked for the time that you've given me. I'm really appreciative of it. And I'm pretty sure we'll be in touch talking about hacks and talking about stuff about our vehicles. I mean, having a Defender has been a huge eye-opener for me, and I completely love it. And I'm really glad that you're doing so well, and I really applaud you for keeping it up. And thank you very much for your time. I hope your listeners enjoy this, because I'm pretty sure mine are going to. And thanks again, Jamal. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much. It's really an honor and a pleasure to talk to you, and hope we'll talk soon in the future. And please, everybody, forgive me for my English language. It's not great, because it's not my language. You know, it's my second language. Yeah.
That's true, but I heard you perfectly fine, and I'm sure everyone else is going to.
Great,
so,
thank you.
Guys, go along and follow. I'll put the descriptions below. Go ahead and follow Jamal. He's got a great channel, and informative and fun. And thanks a lot again, Jamal. Have a blessed evening further.
Thank you. You too. Thank you, Anton.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.